And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Alien Stream. You could be watching from anywhere around the country or the world or anywhere in the galaxy and outer space. And I appreciate all of you for being here and joining us. We have some interesting things to talk about and discuss tonight and for a little while. And we have some different things I've been up to. I will talk about, and we'll have some news of the Titanic, some things about the drones, and things as we usually do. And without further ado, here we go. I'm going to switch over so people can see me. And hello there, Stranded. Welcome. I'm glad that you're here with us. All right, here I am. Hello, everybody. And I hope that everybody's been having a great week. And if anybody wants to talk about what they've been up to this week, that's fine too. I think that's fine. And if anybody has cool plans, it's cool too. I've been looking at some trials today and got some new subs to the channel, and I appreciate that. And Stranded thought she was going to have to hijack the ship for a moment. Yeah, shout out to you, Stranded. And at some point, we will have you call in at some point again, Stranded. I don't know if we're doing it tonight, but we'll plan it out. Also, hello 49ers Mama. Shout out to you. I'm glad that you're here with us. I'm glad to see you again. And 49ers Mama is a friend of mine from the trial chat, and glad to have her with us. And what I do is, in the beginning, I talk about the different topics and things, and I play the game and talk about the stuff. And then a little bit later, I, I will get into some articles and stuff like that. All right. So basically, I have something interesting to say. Is that it's going to snow in my neck of the woods sometime this week. And hello, Patriot, NYC Patriot. Welcome. I'm glad that you're here with us. That's a friend from another channel from ABL. It's nice to have her here. And so it's going to snow, and I thought that is going to be really interesting. It hasn't snowed here heavily since 2008, and before that was 2004. Last year there was mild snow, very mild snow, but thank you 49ers Mama, thank you very much. But it wasn't anything that you would see on the ground. It was just something that on the vehicles you'd see a little bit of. Yeah, I really appreciate that. And so basically, with the Titanic, there is an issue where they're going to be. They have to halt their mission with the sub, with the goal, because they have some expeditions going down to the Titanic, and it's all been paused by the United States. They're in some legal problem with them, and it's not the Stockton Rush group. And I think, in effect, because of what he did, it caused a very big problem with future dives to the Titanic. And also, let's see, we got that. Okay, everything's good. And we'll play this for a little bit, and then we'll get into the articles. It'll be very soon, and especially since we have an audience of people here. This will not take too long, but in the beginning, to give other people that might come in a little bit from now an opportunity to get here, and it's a part of the show as well. And it's a tradition on YouTube to do the games. PewDiePie did it. He's the most famous YouTuber of all time, and many other YouTubers have done it. And it's something I did when I was a kid, and it's something that I continue to. So it'll be for a little bit, and then we'll get into the other stuff. All right, and hit you with a snowball. That's hilarious. Hilarious. And I'll get to you, Stranded. I see you're saying some other things. And it's getting colder in New York City. Yeah. G is up there. GSI 8. She's up there too. And yeah, she was saying it was pretty cold. Yeah, and when I was a kid in the playground, I used to go and throw the. It snowed in '08, and my friends, I talk about aliens with and stuff. Him and I and the other friends, we would go out on the field, and when it was snowing, it was just a white blanket. It looked like Russia. or the battlefields of Ukraine or something. Or Doctor Zhivago, which is a movie I'm sure some of you are familiar with. That's what it looked like. And then him and I, we would, and the others, we'd have a snowball fight. It was fun, and it was everything's tropical here because we have palm trees and stuff. So it was a tropical snowland. Very interesting. Hey Zero, that's why you're sneezing. Good to see you, man. And I'll be playing the game for a little bit, and then we'll get into the different things. And yeah, so 49ers Mama says that New York is freezing and it's getting colder. Absolutely. If it's snowing down in my neck of the woods this week, it certainly has to be a meat locker up there. I mean, it's like a cold day in hell. It snows here, but technically snow does come here, and the conditions were right. It would snow every year down here. It's just most of the time the conditions aren't right. But yeah, because people wonder, like where I am in Louisiana, New Orleans, if it snows, and it's like it gets very cold here. It freezes because we're right where Canada is. Like where Canada's wind hits, it hits us just at the right spot. But now Florida and Miami and like the Caribbean, I don't really know if it goes down that far, but we're in the path of the ice blast every winter. And Stranded says they have a freeze warning over there, supposed to get in the negative degrees next week. Ah, okay. Okay. And if you want me to join you, I'm going to have to get some terrain. I am not. I don't know if I quite know what that is, but understood. I might know, and I'm just not quite remembering. But I understand. Thank you for the joke. And sometimes, especially when I'm doing the streams, I get certain things mixed up a little bit with some words sometimes. But I am an alien working at not full capacity sometimes, but I'm able to get everything done with the streams because I divide myself into different parts. And then we get in and have a nice start. Strand said what she's been up to this week: work, sleep, work. Ah, okay, understood. The same old thing. Okay. Yeah, and also we have energy drink. I'll smoke a cig and load the game. Ah. Oh, okay. I've not heard that energy drink. I've not heard of it. Yeah, and today I was watching the two different trials, and there's a very controversial one. The first one was very controversial, but it was very good with the chat. Different dialogue was very good to see. And also, the other chat were talking about the murder trial, and Jasmine, this lady Jasmine, was stabbed 60 times, and she was deleted and by her lover, but it's not really, you know, a loving thing to do. And yeah, that was really cool, and I didn't know that was going on because I was busy seeing the verdict of the other one. That's funny, 49ers mama. Hilarious. Not sure if I told you, but I was born in Berwick. Well, the hospital was in Morgan City. Yeah, I believe you said that before. But I don't but thank you for saying it again for the to refresh our memory. Thank you. And yesterday what we did was I was talking about some of these alien and Men in Black things that were happening that I was in certain conspiracy theories I was researching. And also what I was doing was we were looking at it. Hello Linda. Welcome. I'm glad that you're here with us. Shout out to you. And Linda, she was one of the mods at the trial chat before they took them out. And it's very unfortunate that they did that, but I'm glad that she is here with us. Yeah, he left us and went to another court case. Yeah, I was being very naughty at the other chat, and I was because I was completely. I didn't even look. I'm even worse than you thought. I didn't even look to see if that was on, and that was just really something incredible. Where I'm like, there's another trial going on. I didn't even look. I wishful thinking. Yeah, and so basically I liked the different dialogue that was going on, and sometimes I'm like an unofficial mod where I will kind of tell people to kind of calm down and to not fight each other too much with the because some of the times the politics stuff will divide people. So what they did was, and Addie, which was the original manager of that channel, her great idea was getting these different people on there from these different things, like these people, different religions and politics and stuff. And I think that it's really important to have. It's good to have unity because there's a lot of division, and I think that it's good to, have people come together over a common cause. And I noticed that, and some of you may know I have been quite political, and some of you may know me from political channels. But basically, I also emphasize there where I go the unity of bringing people together because the politics and the media and stuff I feel can divide people. So yeah, and I'm glad that because earlier I was talking about the live I was doing, and many of the Law and Crime chat subscribed, and it was something I always intended to happen. And there is so many different people that over time, different people migrate to the channel, and I'm glad today was a big migration. St. Mary Parish. I like that name. Awesome. Amanda, once again, I am so delighted to have you here. I'm glad that you're here with us. And then the way the witness was saying cookie was really hilarious. That got everybody joked out in the chat. Yes. Yes. They do, and I love them too. Very much. I'm glad that I came there during the Johnny Depp trial, and it was only for a moment. And I've told this story before, but some of you may not know, which I'm going to say it again because I was always famous for repeating myself. But on here, YouTube is encouraged to repeat yourself because not everybody's going to see what you're saying at every moment. And I was always watching the Johnny Depp trial over at the Independent, and what happened was there was a day where their power the connection for Independent went out, and they were all saying that Law and Crime was on, and everybody kept like saying that, and I said, we have to go over there then and watch it. And this other user, her name is Byzantine Ladybug. She's in the channel somewhere. Shout out to her. And she was because they're asking me what an Amber Alert means. This lady named Madonna over in England was asking me, and the internet Google was saying it means a child was snatched, and I didn't think that's what it meant, but I was like, okay. And she told me it actually means that there's a tornado warning. She was in West Virginia, and she wanted to confirm to me that it had to do with the weather. Is that this weather thing was from down here to all the way up there. That's how far it stretched. And we were over there, and it was, I think, one time we were there for half the day towards the end. And then later, I went over, I saw Darrell Brooks and a couple other trials. I'm like, oh, I remember that group. And there was the mods, and there was everybody there. And I started to, like with many other streams I am a guest on in the chat, I gained popularity because everyone loves the aliens. And I have a group that was there, and a lot of them are still there, but some of them left because of the cringe of the trolls. Then I kept on going there, and to this day, I'm very popular over there. Hello, DJ and SE. I'm glad that you two came over here. Amber Alert is a missing child. Okay, thank you, Stranded. Danielle. Oh, I'm delighted to see you here too. Oh, this day's amazing. I'm glad to see my law and crime trial friends here, along with my other friends from ABL. And yeah, so basically, so that's how I went there. And with Johnny Depp, I was very when I was watching the case and observing what was going on with it, and I was just really studying it, and I can confirm that it was, in my opinion, which seemed also the jury agreed that he was not an angel, but he was not guilty of these allegations that she was saying. And I was helping other people see that it was not what they thought. Because Amber Heard was able to trick a lot of people. Lynn, oh, I'm being spoiled right now. I'm glad to see you here as well. Yeah, so, and as I said earlier, I was talking about the the stream, and all of them, they realized I had a channel, and then they started all coming here. Yeah, and then with Darrell Brooks, he was really cringe, and he was just like a comedic. It wasn't even like real, and basically that was very good to see, and I learned a lot of stuff about law and about different terms and words and stuff. And I've learned a lot from those of you that I know from there. And I'm really glad that I came across it. And tomorrow they're going to go back in court for something they're saying. And that was pretty cool. We'll see them tomorrow also. Oh, okay, 49ers Mama. Thank you for coming here and hanging out with us. I'm glad that you're able to tell us hello. And I see what you're saying, Eugene. I'll answer you in a moment. So basically, and what I'm going to be, just to give you a brief summary, everybody, is that the Titanic, there's a lawsuit going on, and people that are trying to go back to the Titanic aren't able to do it because there's a lawsuit with the United States, the company that usually brings people to the Titanic. And there's another problem with the drones. So with the drones, they are there's a couple of them hovering over a base, not a base, but a nuclear power plant in Louisiana. True Crime Lullabies. It's another bonus. Welcome. I'm glad to see you with us. So there's this lawsuit going on with the company that usually sends submarines to Titanic because they're not able to go there right now. Also, there's another conflict going on with the drones that are being seen everywhere. That the governor of Louisiana wanted to take them down, and they're being very sequestered about what those things are exactly. So, I think that is, the drones are allegedly looking for some nuclear object of some sort, like a nuclear bomb or a missile or reactor, or something. And the drones have nuclear sensing capabilities, and they're trying to see where it is, but they're not telling us exactly what they are. Because they'll say, like, it's not a threat, but they don't know what it is. It's like, how do you not know what it is? Also, we talk about aliens here. I was also saying that there's these orbs. They're like UFO type things, and they are in the sky. And there's drones that have been going up to them and monitoring these orbs that have been appearing. And there is a drone that was taken, like it malfunctioned and was taken out by them. So I thought that was very, an awing thing to see. And there's this one drone monitoring all these orbs coming out like a portal. So that was, some things we're talking about. And something I mentioned last time is that those that might be interested in horror movies, I saw Nosferatu recently and it was very good, and I highly recommend it. Thank you, Zero. I'll watch out. Thank you, Dwayne, for hitting the like button and wishing me a good live. Welcome, Dwayne. I'm glad to see you. And also to my trial fam, I am, welcome to the channel, to Spaceship, and it was very interesting seeing that trial today, and very good jokes in the chat, and something else that was going on. Like, as I said, I was at the controversial trial mostly, and I completely forgot about there was another trial on. I didn't even think it was on. So, but yeah, I got to see the like part of it with you all, and it looks like they adjusted their sound a little bit, so that's good. That's good. And Eugene asked me a question I'll get to. Now, Strand is saying that Amber Alerts are issued. Ooh. Oh, we got the. I got her. Okay. Amber Alerts are issued in the most serious child abducting cases. Okay, thank you, Stranded, for the information. Yeah, so it was not an Amber Alert that they were seeing. It was a tornado warning, and somebody got mixed up and said it was an Amber Alert. So I was right, but it was a tornado warning specifically. And Stranded said it was created in 1996, the legacy of Amber Hegerman, a 9-year-old girl that was kidnapped in Arlington, Texas. And Eugene says, are you interested in the Blake Lively thing? Justin Baldini sues Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds for 40 million, 400 million. I'm not completely familiar with that one, but it's something I'd be interested to look into. Thank you. All right. So, and and with the trials, like, so I was monitoring it and keeping a close eye on it because we're trying to see when they would come back on after they got back from the holiday, because we were waiting because of the holiday, the Christmas and New Year's holidays, to get back, and I saw the trials were kind of creeping back up, and there was something with the Slenderman case, the girl that deleted the person because of the Slenderman case. That was something that I saw the rerun for, and they had the Luigi Mangione stuff, and we'll have to wait and see how that goes. And remember that they're wearing matching outfits. Yeah. And Audrey Cunning took the plea today. Thank you, True Crime Lullaby. Thank you. Okay. And basically, we have the bounty hunters. So in the game, when you upgrade to a certain extent, they have the bounty hunters that come after you. And let's see. Yesterday at the trial, yesterday at the trial, the judge made the jury stay for a very long time, and they want to go home. It was kind of funny and awkward, but the jury, was he was pleased with the jury that they chose to stay. Well, they couldn't really choose, but he was glad that they were staying and helping out. But it was really he's really kind of a chill guy, but he could get real like triggered if people are acting stupid. But yeah, he was, and they just want to go home, and he said you have to work for like an hour more. It was funny. Let's see what's going on here. All right, thank you, Stranded. I understand. Thank you. Yeah, sometimes the chat window doesn't completely do what it's supposed to do because they only let you talk for a certain amount of time. All right, and something I mentioned yesterday to the people that, yesterday, so some of you may have heard me say this before, and I'm going to say it again for those that weren't here. So now, as I talk about the alien and stuff and conspiracy theories, I'm going to mention that. So there is a case with the Men in Black, which is these people from the military. Yes, Dwayne, I understand. And I'm glad that you're able to at least tell us hello for a little while. I appreciate that. And at some point, oh, I'm colliding with an island. It'll be very nice when we can have you the whole time, but I understand it's a date night for y'all. All right. So it's these alien conspiracies. So the Men in Black, they there's a case where this guy's brother, he was working at a military base back in the 50s on different craft and stuff, and he went missing. They found his vehicle in the desert. And in the desert, they found a vehicle. And they believe that he went out into the wilderness. I see what you're saying. So, True Crime says, my daughter wants to go visit the sphere in Vegas. Alien created or not. Now, the sphere. I don't know if I'll look it up. I'm not familiar with it. But, oh, I know what you're talking about, I think. I think it might be alien created. Yes. I'll look it up to make sure it's what I think it is, but yes, I think it's something alien. If you're talking about what I think you're talking about, but if it's not, you can correct me. All right, so basically with the alien, so the person was missing, and these Men in Black showed up and were telling the brother about what was going on, and they were like government agents. That's what they, or what I say, government agents. So then what we did was, going further research about it in the video, they were saying that basically you have a, it's interesting where the person worked at. And I think the sphere is very cool as well. And I do think it's alien created, in my opinion. And I would know because I'm an alien. And I would suggest those that go to Vegas to see it. So back to the story where the person was missing, the person was never seen again, but there were cigarette butts all over around where all around the vehicle there are these cigarette butts everywhere, and he didn't smoke, so somebody else put those cigarettes there in that story. And interestingly, where he worked was Area 51. So he must have seen some craft. He must have seen something or saw some UFOs and were going to expose them. So he didn't So they had to go and take him out so he wouldn't expose what he was seeing there. But now the Congress and the government are talking about alien life forms now openly. So I think that it's really incredible that in this day and age it's taken seriously when you would be thinking as a nut back then. In true crime, I have in deep thought, I have thought about what you're saying, that sphere in Vegas. I understand what you're saying now. And I know what you mean. It's a sphere in Vegas where they have projections and stuff. So basically, I do think that they say it's built by Earthlings, but I think that it was created by aliens because it looks like an orb. Wink, wink. All right. So I know what you're talking about, lullabies, and thanks for the patience because I'm multitasking and my mind not be working 100%. Now, something I was thinking of in Las Vegas and around that area, you have these different UFO contraptions. So there's these stone or slate objects that have been appearing in that part of the country. These slate things, and they have been randomly appearing in different spots. And I think those could be of extraterrestrial origin. Joyce, it's about time. I was wondering where you were. They have found the alien. Yay! Yeah, I don't know if they work at Area 51. I would think it would be similar to a situation with the a sequestered jury, and when the jury's sequestered, they're like at a hotel. They're not going back home. So I think that in a certain sense they're sequestered, and I would not think that the phones would work there, but I do not know for certain. But I will say there were pictures of Area 51 taken when they were have some people they were going to raid Area 51, but they didn't actually raid Area 51. They what they did was they a couple of people went outside of it and were chilling. That's what was really happening. But basically, I would not know for certain, but I would wonder if it works because they would want people contacting people. They wouldn't want people like filming stuff there, but then again, you could get another type of camera. So I don't really know. And the people that work there are very suspicious of the different things that go on in Area 51. So they wouldn't want people to give out the information. Joyce, it's not really a game. It's a portal to another dimension. And since I'm an alien, I can access back in time, and we're able to see this other time period. And I'm playing as a human pirate. Yeah. So basically, I think also what happened was this other story that you'll find very interesting. And also, Joyce, the game is called The Legend of the Pirates of the Caribbean Online. And what I'm telling you is a joke. I'm just being a playful teasing. And it's called The Legend of the Pirates of the Caribbean Online. And so, yeah, give them to Davy Jones. Yeah, yeah. I got the coordinates. I got the coordinates for you. Okay. All right, that's how you get back in time into this game. Now, if you actually want to literally play the game, you can look it up. The Legend of the Pirates of the Caribbean Online. I know you were saying a joke, but if you really want to look it up, that's what the game's called. But that is your link to go into the portal back in time, right there. 789987. There, you could plug it into your spaceship portal, and you could go into the this time period. So basically, this other story, it was about six people in the military and one woman. And they were contacting these spirits through something that Yeah, that's the real code. Wow. Wow. I'm crashing into other I'm going the wrong way. Going the wrong way. Well, actually, there's just a lot of activity here. Yeah. So there's these. I want to see what Joyce is saying though, so I can have a good idea what's going on. So, yeah, exactly. But you know what you did right, Stranded? You subscribed to my YouTube channel. That was something you did right. And Joyce says, "Love that movie." And Johnny Depp. Oh, I will look up for sure. Oh, awesome, awesome, Joyce. I'm delighted. And I'll tell you this, Joyce. I was saying before, I first found Law and Crime because of the Johnny Depp trial, and I was at Law and Crime briefly because their power went out, and my friend Ladybug and the others migrated over there for briefly. And that is what we were. That's how I got to meet all of you over there. Don't crash. Eyes on the road. Read my message late. Read my last message later. Yeah, I'm being cocky because I think I could do multitasking and drive and do that all at once. I need my co-pilot Stranded and my other co-pilot Joyce to keep me in line. And also, basically, there is this situation that occurred where the six people in the military they went and they were trying to they I don't recommend doing this, but they were using an Ouija board to communicate with spirits. And we had a big conversation about this yesterday with Marie. So basically they were contacting these spirits, and one of the spirits named Sapphire, which is a big coincidence because we were talking about something similar with the sphere over there, and this is called a sapphire. Yeah, you're daydreaming about 1980, and you better behave yourself, young lady, because I could drop bars like I'm shady. That's interesting, lullabies. That's interesting. Now, it's something that I wouldn't recommend personally, and something that I don't use, but those that use those things, all I would say is as long as you know how to use those things properly and not cause yourself a problem, because there's a lot of people that communicate with fallen spirits and stuff and they have a problem. So as long as you're not having any spiritual, like you're not being like Winnie the Pooh isn't haunting you or something, then okay. I hope that you have a good time on your journey. And if anybody has problems, they could always pray to God if there's a problem. And if all those people don't believe in God, that's okay. But you could have that as a plan B if people have a problem. So anyway, so Lullaby, you'll be interested in this. So they're communicating with the Ouija board, and they're talking to a spirit named Sapphire. And interestingly, which I've not heard of anything like this before, the spirit was claiming to be Jesus' mother Mary and prophets from the Bible, and was telling them that the Antichrist would be coming. And the Antichrist would be coming, and that there are these different prophecies that the ghost was talking about. You got Sage. All right. And scared. I make voices sometimes for laughs, and one of the voices is very famous. It's scared. If Winnie the Pooh is haunting me, I'm going to get Tigger. Okay. Yeah, Tigger will straighten him out. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not here to judge people about what they believe or practice. I'm just saying my opinion about things. But people, I feel, should practice whatever they want to practice, whatever is best for them. Just that's my be clear on that. and I hope everybody has a good spiritual journey, whatever that is. Okay. So basically, they were communicating with it, and it was saying that there would be these earthquakes in Iran and these different parts of the Middle East. And these earthquakes happened, and they were very convinced that this spirit was talking to them. And thank you, Zero. Thank you. And I'm just kind of I was waiting for the right moment, and now I have to wait for the thing to recharge. But anyway, okay, Lynn, understood. Have a good night's sleep. Thank you for being at Law and Crime and being with us over here. All right. And also, basically, as I was saying, so they're playing with the Ouija board, and the spirits are talking to the spirits. And the spirit was talking to them and about the earthquakes and about some wars that would be going on. And basically, that's funny. That's funny lullabies. So basically, the certain wars would happen, and certain UFO events would occur, and what it was saying was correct, and it was very fascinating for them to experience that. So I was, was watching it, and they were told by this spirit to defect from the military to help fight the Antichrist. And that's a death penalty. So they went over to... Before that, there's something I want to mention. Is that the main character was communicating with an alien. It wasn't me, it was one of my colleagues. And it was saying it was one of the good aliens. And that there's aliens that abduct people and do things that are bad. And that they're fighting against them. And there's a group of aliens that are good. So basically, with the aliens that were good... and she was telling them the same thing about this apocalyptic war and stuff like that. So then what they were doing was this. So they were communicating with these things, and they went back to the United States. They got a Volkswagen van from the 60s, and they were going to Florida. And coincidentally, when they're going back to Florida, they saw this. There's a Gulf Breeze UFO sighting coincidentally happens. And the Gulf Breeze UFO sighting is this alien experience where this light blue UFO appeared and the person caught it on camera. I have a video about it on my channel. So then what happened next was they had the sighting and it shot the Bubbles, the cat. He's getting excited. And then what happened next was while they're driving, they found this... Well, I'm getting ahead of myself. I want to say that the Gulf Breeze sighting I was talking about. So the Gulf Breeze sighting, and they think that the video was faked. The picture was faked. But I did see a UFO that looked very similar to that over here. I have a video of that on my channel as well. I had a UFO sighting I saw. And it was a blue sphere, an orb. And I thought it could have been a drone, but no, it wasn't a drone. It was an orb. And it was levitating, and it floated up and up. And I did pray about it because I didn't want to be abducted at the moment. But just in a little bit later I wanted to, but not at that moment. A joke. And it did go away. But basically with the sighting, that was something I experienced. It looked very similar to that. So the Gulf Breeze sighting happened. And then while they're driving, they're pulled over by the police. And... they're pulled over by the police, and they were arrested because the guy's name was in the system for deserting. There was a trial for them, and they were given an honorable discharge, and they were let go. And the people don't talk about it, and they were saying that the Antichrist would come at some point in the late 90s, but none of this stuff actually happened. So they don't talk about it, and they wonder if they were brainwashed in some sort of government experiment. So that was something very interesting that happened, and like I see a lot of videos on YouTube and stuff where these Ouija boards that communicate with, like, in my opinion as a Christian, my view of it, demons and fallen spirits and stuff like that. And I kind of think that in general, that's what it does. But as I said, those that don't believe that and think that they're these other spirits would disagree and think it's something else. But that's just a Christian perspective about that. That I don't think that's how God communicates with people. But as I said, I don't know everything. And people that practice that do it safely and correctly, because there's people that don't know what they're doing and they'll talk to things that are not that nice. Now, I have enough spirits in my head that I talk to on a regular basis where I don't even need to talk to the Ouija board because of all the alien spirits in my head. But those, as I said, that practice it, I'm not here to judge anyone or tell anyone what to do. And also, if you all have different opinions about the Ouija board thing, feel free to say what your opinion is. I'd be interested to know different perspectives. And Lullabies says lost souls. Okay, they're lost souls. I do agree with that. That does make sense. And also, Zero says, where are the birds? I just saw birds. Where are the birds in this game? There is an island, Zero, where there's a bunch of birds. So, yeah, that makes sense. And now there's been dreams that people have, and they communicate with people that, of their relatives and stuff that passed away. Liquid spirits are no too. Hilarious. Oh, we got a whole armada up in here. Oh, we got another one. Yeah, so I think that, for instance, you have these people, like, for instance, my aunt, one of my aunts passed away in 2009. And my mom had a dream about her and that she was okay and she was in a better place, in heaven. And she was wearing a shirt with a pink cupcake on it. And when my mom went to the store the next day at Target, she saw a gift card with the same pink cupcake. I do believe that spirits or people that have passed away can communicate with people from heaven, and even I think some lost spirits and some fallen spirits also. And I do think fallen angels can communicate, demons and stuff can cause a deception. I think, I'm not talking about, that's a separate thing. I think that fallen angels can deceive people and stuff, but I do believe that people that have passed away can communicate with people, and I think that I would trust in God to take care of that stuff for me. And that to not know about the future or the past, but to have faith that in God to take care of everything. And I do think also, though, that it's my opinion that people can take the different paths to that as they want and please. And I do think that having faith in anything, if it's a chair, if it's sitting in a chair and it doesn't fall, is very important. So people don't have to have faith in God if they don't want to. It's not mandatory for people. They have a free will. But I think that faith is an important thing, and I like to go by faith, but I also like to do this other thing where God can show people signs. Like, I like numerology. Like, I think 333 is a number that can mean something significant, like an angelic number. I think that it's, good for people to have signs, like, say they see a rainbow or something, and it was a sign about something. So I do think those are very important things, and that is my view on some of that stuff. There is this movie called Heaven is for Real, where this... Right. You're getting your place ready. Right. Understood, Lullabies. And just because somebody doesn't communicate with you doesn't mean anything. And I believe that God can see someone's life and what they went through, and he can judge like what they knew about him or what they went through. And I think people can be turned off by religion because sometimes there's priests that molest children. There's all kinds of, people that, like, if you play certain music, you're a devil. There's people that, Like you can't do anything right and stuff. So there's people I believe that humans fall in the error and misinterpret things, and I feel that the best thing is to have a relationship with God personally, or a higher spiritual being, whatever, or the universe, whatever people believe in. So I think that I can understand people can be turned off by it, and to be aware of signs and wonders, but God can send signs. So that's what I think, and that's why I, don't force my beliefs on other people, because it's like people have their own reasons for what they believe. And I really am enjoying this mature conversation y'all are having. Very good. I feel very blessed about this. And basically there's this movie called Heaven is for Real, and this kid had this near death experience, and he saw his sister that passed away in childbirth, and he saw his grandfather, and he looked like a young man. And he saw Jesus, and it wasn't the depiction of Jesus that people usually see today. And this girl painted him what she saw, and it matches the same person that she saw. So if somebody looks up like Heaven is for Real Jesus painting, that's what he looks like. And he looks like somebody that would be from Mediterranean person. Like he could pass for like the Jewish or Italian. Not saying those two people look alike, but he could look like something from the Mediterranean. And basically, it was very cool. And in that picture she painted of him looks, and it matches the Shroud of Turin, which I think is very interesting. So I do think there's an afterlife and a place where people go, and I think it's good that people could have spiritual connection. So if people are spiritual already, I think that's good. And as I said, be careful and do and learn what you're supposed to do, where you don't cause yourself a problem. And Joyce says religion is a tricky subject. Everyone has their own belief, and we need to understand regardless. Amen, Joyce. And that's why I think that, it's important, because sometimes people I knew would sometimes force sit down people. And it's not, as I said, people went through certain things. They have certain experiences. Like, as I said, I believe in God, okay? But I'll say this, is like if you tell people the flying spaghetti monster will send you to hell for not believing in him, and we know that the flying spaghetti monster isn't real. It's like, they're not going to believe in it. So I believe people should take a different approach, and I think it's good to have any proof or evidence that can be presented. I think faith is important, but I think that if there's any proof or evidence, it's important too. Like, I think, like, with Jesus' disciples, why would they go and get themselves brutally executed over a practical joke? Like, if they saw their friend on the cross and he resurrected, it's like, how does... They really believe they thought they saw that, which I believe they saw that, but they really believe that happened. So they weren't like making it up, I don't think, because they wouldn't have been murdered for it or executed for it. And also, Lullaby says, agree, Joyce, I respect everyone's religion and understanding theirs just as important to them as mine to me. And that's good, Lullaby. And I think that nobody should have a state where they force people to believe in things. I think that's wrong. And I agree with you, Lullabies. And I say my opinions about these things, because the religion is something I do talk about, along with the aliens and stuff. And not forcing my beliefs, but I talk about them. And something about the aliens I want to talk about. So there's the Bible, they talk about the Nephilims. And there's this giant, in South America, there's these giants that lived in South America. And they wanted to build these... They were angry at one of their gods for causing a great flood to wipe out the giants. And they kept on building these pyramids on top of each other to reach him, but they couldn't reach him. And these other civilizations, like the Gilgamesh in India and these different places, they talk about a great flood happening. And I think that's interesting. And in the Red Sea, there's evidence of these carriages that were found in the Red Sea. So I think that... those are just interesting things that I researched. But with aliens, I believe they're real. And I think some could be influenced by fallen angels. And there's other visitors from space, maybe. So that is my view on that. And Joyce says, it took me a long time to be at peace with God, but I will admit I do struggle. That is a conversation I will have with him later. Understood. And like my sister, my half sister, she believes in Wicca, a type of witchcraft. And I told her that it's okay that I'm not going to be against her. She believes in that. I think she went back to Christianity to some extent, but she did or practices things from that. And I told her like I'm not going to like excommunicate her because then I don't believe like because God gave people a free will, and I believe that I want people to believe that God is who He is if they want to by actual conviction of it. Because if you put a sword to someone's throat and force them to believe in something that they're not really believing in anything. They're just doing it out of fear. So God should be feared in a sense to be respected, but you don't have to like be forced to believe in it. And also, SC said something. All right, all caught up. Agree, Joyce. Everyone's enjoy and hola to SC Wolverines. Could the carriages be the Romans when Moses parted the Red Sea? That's funny. That's funny. And that may have been a joke and all, and I thought that was funny. And I just want to be clear for the people in the back that the Egyptians were trying to find the Israelites because they were betraying them, and then God parted the Red Sea, then He flooded it again. So that's what happened. Yeah. So this ties into the channel and stuff I talk about. And also, I'm going to dock, and we're going to get into the other stuff with the articles and things that I talk about the Titanic and about these different things like that. Understood, New York City Patriot. Thank you. All right, so we're going to Devil's Anvil. Joyce, I had the DVD and I watched it. That is a very good series. That's a very good series. And I'll tell you about. And look, there and what Stranded was saying is that she believes that there are good aliens, and there probably are good aliens. And basically, what happened was with these extraterrestrials is that they are good ones and bad ones. And yeah, Stranded, I know you were joking. I just want to say it for the people in the back that may have not have known that it was from Egypt. I know you were joking. And so basically, some of them may be good and some of them may be bad. So I will say that with the my friend and I. So I'll tell you a little background about me for those that may have not have known this that are new. My best friend, his nickname, and also it's my nickname for each other. Him and I call each other this nickname. His code name Douglas, and he would. I knew him since third or fourth grade, and he was very interested in aliens, and I like aliens too. And he told me about all the different theories and stuff about aliens. He did a lot of research, and we were talking about it for many years, and a lot of people didn't completely believe in it, and some people thought it was silly and stuff. But it's spread all over the world now, and that's really great. But there's also people that did believe in it also from there, and so. Oh, understand, Danielle. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us. So basically, we thought the Greys and a lot of the aliens, specifically the Greys, were something evil because they always abducted people, and he just told me that they were not good. And now a lot of Christians believe that it was their fallen angels, and that would make sense. Or the Watchers. So that was something, a confirmation about what was happening and like what they really are. So that was something that I changed over time. I didn't trust the Greys, but I now understand that they may be dealing with the Watchers. So there's these Satan and the fallen angels, then there's the Watchers that fell, and for Earth women, then you had this other group of people, and they wanted to teach humans about sciences and like technology.
White cat in the backyard, another white cat.
Another white cat.
I'm pretty sure.
Scared.
I'm pretty freaked out.
Yeah, they scare people, right? Yeah, so basically what happened was, okay, thank you, Zero, for the information. Yeah, so basically what these creatures did is that they taught humans all these different things about the different sciences and like building the pyramids and stuff. Like that, all the pyramids are all adjacent to each other, and China and Africa and South America, they're all adjacent. Lullabies, thank you for coming with us and hanging out with us. It was amazing having you on the show with us. And also, there's this planet called Planet 10 that we was very keen on talking about. And it definitely seems that this Planet 10 thing is real, and the NASA and science are confirming that it may be there now. All right, Lullabies, peace to you, and thank you. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go into the other things right now, and I'm going to leave the game and go into the other part. Okay. I didn't know about the new grenade. I didn't know about it. You have to enlighten me. Oh, Lil Wayne's having a concert. I like Lil Wayne. He's a good rapper. Well, that's great. Enjoy it. He does very good. He's very talented. Exactly, exactly. Oh, I got it. Oh yes, Zero. I got it. I just wasn't paying attention to what I got exactly. Awesome, Zero. Yes, Jack Sparrow's snowman. Scared. All right, so now we have the other window. So remember Nibiru Planet 10? It's a planet beyond Neptune. Shout out to the spaceship cats. And the planet beyond Neptune is the planet that I've talked about before. I'll give a brief summary about it. Just not a summary, but just going to show it for a second. For a moment. Planet 9 is a hypothetical ninth planet in the outer regions of the solar system. Its gravitational effects could explain the peculiar clustering of orbits for a group of extreme trans-Neptunian objects, bodies beyond Neptune that orbit the Sun at a distance of an averaging more than 250 times that of Earth over 250 astronomical units. Yes, SC, absolutely, absolutely. And thank you, NYC Patriot, absolutely. I completely agree. And Meow, and yes, Stranded, it's Captain Jack Sparrow Snowman. Yeah, so that's the planet in question. And now we're going to go to the article. Let's see how it does with the stream. And New York City Patriot, I'm so used to seeing you at in like the ABL chat, and it's like, and it's kind of like around the time I watch it when it's on Saturday, and it's like I'm like having like wait a minute. So I'm glad that you're here, and along with the other people in chat. All right, so here we go. Let's go to Titanic news. All right, here we go. Joyce, remember last time the caller she was talking about ABL? It's a political channel. Just to let you know, just to give you a warning, because there's people here that are from the law and crime, and there may be different political stuff. So, yeah, it's channel Anthony Brian Logan. I'm the call closer for his show, like the last caller that closes it. I succeeded the Chicago cop. All right, so now what we're going to be doing is rest in peace, Chicago cop. Great, cool dude. Now, as I said, it's political, so warning for trigger warning to people about that because that's a very touchy topic. And I want to have as much unity as possible. That's why I didn't completely get into the CNN trial thing, as I don't want to cause a ruckus right now. I want to talk about these things, but I did cover it though. I did cover it. Yeah, that's where SC and Stranded and New York City Patriot. A lot of them met me there. So and also, so you see, guys, I met many people all over YouTube and brought them on my stream. That's just so cool. It's a dream come true seeing all of you in this chat from all these different places. It just really it really warms me up. All right, so now we're going to be talking about this thing with the Titanic news. Titanic salvage firm shelves dive plans, ending legal dispute with the U.S. RMS Titanic Inc. said it has no plans to visit the shipwreck in 2025, but it's ruling out future missions. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself. And this is the old Titanic right there in the abyss. Scared. Scared. Yeah, so you see this thing right here. That's where Jack and Rose did their thing. And basically, with the Titanic, they were they did a test on some of the pulley mechanisms inside the Titanic, and they kind of moved it around, and the pulley system works perfectly fine. After crashing underwater over 100 years, it still works. Like the mechanical stuff still works on there without any WD-40. How is that a thing? They made things way better back then. And I'll get into a rant about how Titanic could have avoided the sinking. It was an easy mistake that could have been avoided. And it could have been known as an unsinkable ship. But nothing's unsinkable. But it could have been less likely for it to sink if it was done properly. All right. The company with exclusive salvage rights to the Titanic has no imminent. I said that wrong. Imminent plans for future dives, indefinitely pausing a dispute with the U.S. government. A report said Monday the company has said it is still considering the possibility of future expeditions to the deteriorating ocean liner. Thank you, New York City Patriot. That means a lot to me. Thank you. Hello, Danny. Good to see you. Welcome. U.S. authorities withdrew a motion to intervene in a federal court on Virginia on January 10. The Associated Press reported Artnet News has reached out to RMS Titanic Incorporated, the company, for more information, but did not receive a response by press in time. The dispute between the RMST, as it is known, at, and federal authorities stems from 2020 plans for a dive to document the status of the wreckage and recover more artifacts from the sunken ship. The second such clash between the company and the U.S. government in 5 years. Now, there's a dispute about the Titanic. You got to hear me out here. There's no government that has control over the land, over the sea, over the ocean over there. And basically, with the ocean, there's this dispute about who has the rights over Titanic. It's kind of like a Wild West thing. There's no regulation. That's why Stockton Rush could do what he did without any consequences, because there was no government to monitor what he was doing. RMST, which was granted the exclusive salvage rights by the federal government in 1994, has embarked on 8 excursions to the Titanic, recovering more than 5,000 artifacts that it has also exhibited. The shipwreck was first located in 1985. Joyce, Zip, your secret's safe with me. Scared. The RMST, which was granted exclusive salvage rights by the federal government, comfort, in 1994, has embarked on 8 excursions to the Titanic, recovering more than 5,000 artifacts that has also exhibited. The shipwreck first located in 1985. Yeah, shout out to the Titanic. But in 2020, the company drew up plans to visit the so-called macaroni room of the ship, named for wireless telegraph machine that was used to radio out the ship's distress calls in Morse code as it began to sink. The plans were initially approved by the federal judge, but consented by the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Federal authorities alleged that the RMST's plans to recover the machine violated a 2017 law passed that prohibits entering the ship and a treaty with the UK. But because of the COVID-19 situation, the case didn't make the court. RMST then tried to revise the plans for dive after the pandemic. In 2023, the government authorities promptly objected. Well, I will certainly look for you there. That's where I'll look for you, in the macaroni room. The dispute raised the possibility of an interesting legal standoff that would question the government's authority over such maritime matters. But the sequel was mostly squashed after the OceanGate, Scamgate, Lambgate, Tin Can Gate, Titan submersible implosion of 2023, which deleted the company's director of underwater research and several other passengers. Stranded said, I remember when they found the Titanic. They weren't sure at first if it was her. It was a huge news, and everyone in the country was watching when the confirmation was announced. Very exciting. The RMST then revised its plans for the dive to take external images of the shipwreck, and the dive went forward in September 2024. But the dispute over the government's regulatory authority over the company was left unanswered. Hilarious, Joyce. Near, far, where you are. Yeah, shout to near my God to thee. Very good, Heim. The RMST then revised its plans for the dive to take external images of the shipwreck, and the dive went forward on September 2024. But the dispute over the government's regulatory authority over the companies was left unanswered. The company told the court in December that it was visit the wreck in 2025. The Associate Press reported it also said it had not decided to plan plans for future expeditions. Yeah, that's awesome. I see you got to see that. Quote, should future circumstances warrant, the United States will file new motions to intervene based on the facts then existing. The government's reportedly wrote in its latest filings. All right, I'll tell you something about Titanic. Titanic sinking, no lives lost. That was not true. Titanic sinks, 1,500 die. And also, SC says it was so cool. They had menus, chairs for a whole bunch of stuff on it. Absolutely. That's so cool, SE. It is amazing how well items are preserved, and it has to do with the ship itself and the water, how cold it was. The cold preserves things. All right. So basically, this is the Titanic. Oh, I'm sure you know where the blue diamond is. Oh yeah, I think I know where it is too. Oh, good. Here we go. All right. Let's see what people can see here. Oh, okay. Well, that was the wrong window, silly alien. Silly alien tricks are for kids. Yeah, they can see that. Good. All right, so you're looking at a figure here of the Titanic. This is the blueprints of the Titanic. And if anybody has issues seeing anything, just let me know as I go through this. So we have the Titanic, and it has a very unique design to it. And you have the flood compartments. And the iceberg swiped it and got 5 compartments. So you're going to get. I'll show you a diagram of how big the gash is. We'll show you right here. I'm speaking. I'm like a plural person now. I'm saying we will when it's just me here. All right, this is the Titanic. So you see the orange line, it goes all the way, it gets like where the funnel is, the first funnel is. That's how deep it was. And then the ship started filling up with water, and it just kept on having a domino effect. And a flaw in this design is that they didn't extend the flood compartment bulkheads high enough, because when you have it like that, they tip over and it just causes a domino effect to happen. So if they would have just closed them, it wouldn't have sunk like it did. It's like you're telling me it's an unsinkable ship, but it doesn't have the things all the way up. You never saw the Titanic movie. Well, Eugene, I saw it when my mom was pregnant with me in 1997. So I saw it, in 97. And I saw it when I was a kid, and I saw it in 2012. So I saw it 3 times. All right, so this is the Titanic. And so if you're looking at the front of the ship, you can see that. So the iceberg swiped it. They're trying to avoid the iceberg. So this was the intentions, I think, of the original design. Was that if it hit an iceberg or hit something, it would still stay afloat. And even if some of the flood compartments got scraped, it would still stay afloat. But if 5 flood compartments got breached, it would cause the whole thing to sink. So basically, when the ship was swiped, they're trying to avoid it, and it wasn't like built to avoid it. It was built to hit it. Now, if they would have hit the iceberg, it would have caused damage to people inside. Probably it would probably hurt some people, or quite a few people. But if you see the front part of the Titanic, like in the front, and basically at if 2 flood compartments are breached, it would not sink. And also, for instance, if you just hit 2 at the bow, it would not sink. It would not have sunk at all. So if it hit the iceberg head on, it would not have sunk. And the Costa Concordia, for instance, if it would have only affected 2 flood compartments, and the Titanic would not have sunk in the Costa Concordia situation. It would have just been sitting there. It would have kind of dipped a little underwater, but it would not have sunk. So the Titanic, it's very unfortunate that the design of the ship was very good, and it's unfortunate that it never got to really see a situation where it could have survived the sinking. What they could have done, which they improved this on the Titanic sister ships, on the Olympic and the Britannic, they improved these things. They were able to raise the flood compartment doors and the flood compartment walls so it does not overflow. So that was something they improved on the 2 other ships. And as I said, it's like pride before the fall. Tony, I'm so glad to see you here. And also, yeah, hello, Tony. Good to see you. And SC says the captain even said God himself couldn't sink the ship. It was doomed. Yeah, recently in Hollywood, there's they mocked God, and then a wildfire happened. Yeah. And the Air and Space Museum has large model of the TOS Enterprise, which is cool. Eugene, it's very cool with the stuff that you saw. Very cool. And also, we have Wolverines. I have seen the menus of different classes online. The 3rd class menu wasn't as bad as people assume. Alright. And we're going to take a closer look into this. Alright, so this is it up close. It was built in North Ireland, in Belfast. And Titanic was built but North Ireland is part of the United Kingdom. So it's part of the United Kingdom, but it was not in England specifically. Liza Jean. Yay! Welcome. Yeah, so basically, we have this part of the ship, and I want to just make clear that there's this legal disputes about the company that usually goes to Titanic. There's been legal disputes with the United States, and they haven't had the situation correctly in order to go down there and retrieve the different stuff. And Stockton Rush really ruined it for a lot of people, but so that's what's going on. There is a lawsuit with the United States government and a company. Oh yeah, so and that is the area of where it got scratched. And I'm just talking like a 3-year-old. That's where it got hit, right there. All right, so let's go to Belfast. Right. So basically, this is the shipyard. I agree, Stranded. He was being disrespectful, making it into like a tourist attraction. Rest in peace, those that passed away. But yeah, he was making it into a tourist attraction. And also, yeah. So these are the cranes from Harland and Wolff. Let's see what information we could read about this. It's interesting. All right. Owner of Belfast shipyard that built the Titanic enters administration. Blow to the UK shipbuilding. Hopes that Harland and Wolff declares itself insolvent. I River Dance. The Celts did this. The Celts did so much stuff, and I am part Irish, also, and I'm also part Scottish and Welsh. I'm English, so basically my ancestry. My name is German. My dad's side is also German too, from a certain special German royal family that I might be connected to somehow. But basically, anyway, but my dad's side is from England, and I am, his line is from England, but also I'm related to people from Ireland and Scotland as well. And basically over there, the relatives I had were not against England, so they moved over to England at different points and they mixed with the people. So I've related to Ireland and Scotland and Wales. Those are my, so I have a lot of Celtic in me. Also a little bit on my mom's side too. And but that's why I say I'm British. I don't say I'm English because I'm not going to ignore my Irish and Scottish and Welsh ancestry. So I say I'm British. Which of course I'd say a lot of you are related to the Celts because most of America is related to them. So I mean, not everybody, but a lot of people are. Harland and Wolff, the owner of Belfast shipyard that built the Titanic, is to enter into administration this week after failing to find new funding in a blow to the UK government hopes of shipbuilding in the city. The company said that it was insolvent, that was expecting to appoint administrators from the Tenio mentality. It said 50 to 60 immediate redundancies were expected, but said staff at its shipyard were not part of that. It said it was hopeful that the companies operating its shipyard would be bought. Those core operations would continue to trade as usual for now, it added. In July, the company said as many as 1,600 people were working across its businesses, which also included shipyards in Devon and Scotland, a proposed gas storage operation north in Ireland, and now discontinued the ferry service serving the Isle of Sicily. Liza Jean said, Brits conquered the world with ships, acquired so many colonies, ruled the slave trade. Irish were some of the first slaves. And also, Liza Jean, they did have that with the Irish. They had some conflict, and I understand that they had wars with Ireland and Scotland, and also Britain was the first group to. They did end the slave trade, and they did end slavery before the America did. So it did end it eventually, and Queen Victoria was very against it. And also, many Irish people, many of the people in the military of the British Empire were people from Ireland. So, without the Irish people, the British Empire wouldn't have been a thing. So, yes, I'm sure that they did have slavery with Irish, but there was also other Irish people that were, involved with England as well. And the United Kingdom's flag has the flag of Ireland in it. So they're trying to create a United Kingdom. But I understand there's controversy about this. And although I am Irish, I'm part Irish, I'm against anything bad the British Empire did. Okay, I'm sure they did a lot of evil things. Okay, absolutely. But they did make up for it, and I am not against, like what my ancestry is, but then again, it's like I'm also being British is also being Scottish and Irish too. Like they also had something to do with that as well. It wasn't just English people doing it. And also, Liza Jean, I'm related to Irish Catholics that went to England, and they loved England. They loved England, and they married English people that converted to the Catholic faith. So, there was a time where England and Ireland were making peace about the religious conflict, and I do agree that there's problems with the religious conflict. And I'm related to people that were Protestant English people, and also to the Catholic Irish. So I'm like a hybrid between both. And they did make peace, but the Irish famine happened, which I believe that the Irish themselves didn't. The government of Ireland didn't want England and Ireland to have peace, so I think the famine was put there to cause discord amongst the two groups. And also, there was religious conflict. Yes, that's true. And also, Spain joined Ireland in the war against England. Yes, I'm a hybrid. Yes. And it's kind of like, for instance, somebody that's German and Jewish at the same time. It would cause them a conflict probably over that if they went people that were in Germany at that time. And for instance, like the Germans with the Jews, and the Irish and the English. So yes, and I don't deny that England at one time was bad to Ireland. They were, I'm sure, and from what I researched, but they try to make peace with them and ease the tensions at some point. And many of the Irish people were part of the army because they're tall and nice and strong. And there's people that are English that are like that too, but the Irish people are very tough, and they made an alliance with them. And also, they banned Catholicism in England, then they released the ban. And also with Ireland, there were Liza Jean. There was people in England that were racist against the Irish people. That's true, but not all of them were like that. And there's some English that want to have a united kingdom, and some English that were like prejudiced, because you have that in everywhere. So, as I said, I am proud to be Irish, and I'm proud to be English and Scottish and all the things I am. That's why I say my ethnicity is British, because I don't deny any of the British Isles I'm related to, and being a Briton is really being a Celtic person, because the English invaded later. Absolutely, Liza Jean. Absolutely. And basically, I, with Ireland, basically, because my dad, so my ancestors, I have, like, some of my great grandparents were from Ireland, some of them were from England, some of them were from Scotland, and they all mixed with each other. And I think with America, there is more of a problem with America with Irish people. I'll have to say, I think that America was much more prejudiced against Irish people than England was. So it's like, like England hated Ireland so much they put their flag in their own flag. And I'm not denying the conflict, but America, I say, had a problem with them. And that's why, like, people in America or Canada, they think that, like, England had this problem with Ireland, which they did at one time. But you don't really see it. Like, why did my Irish relatives during the famine go to England if it's so bad? It's. But as I said, they mixed with English people. As I said, thus I'm a hybrid. So as I said, but I will reiterate, I'm not denying that England was not nice to Ireland at some point. But then they try to make peace with each other. Yeah. So that is my point. And when I say I'm British, I'm related to all the British Isles. That's what I mean when I say that. Because I can't just be English, because I'm also Irish. I'm also Scottish. And there's a point in Ireland, in the north part of England, which is where a lot of the Appalachia people and the founding fathers came from. the northern part of England and southern Scotland, they all mixed in with each other. Oh yes, I am part Italian. I am part French. I'm part related to the people from Spain and some parts of Eastern Europe and Western Europe, and also Germans. I'm related to basically the whole thing. And also, Tony says, if I was part alien, I would be hell of a lot smarter than I am. Shout out to you, Tony. And Joy says, I meant the royal yacht built by Ireland for Queen Elizabeth. I am German, but I also have Native uh, American ancestry, Indian ancestry. Also, they say indigenous now. And cultural conflicts go way back, but we all are part of one family. Polish, Austrian, German here. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And part Italian. And yes, also I'm related to Germans. I have a lot of German ancestry as well from both sides. And I hate when I mention I'm German. They think Hitler drives me crazy. Joyce, I have the same problem. You know that, and when I have my hair, like, my hair is usually very like thick and like wavy, kind of curly. But when I have my hair like done, some people say I look like the Austrian painter himself. Scared. And there's not much difference between the German Jews and the Germans. There's not really much difference. Like, but you know, there's a whole rabbit hole of conspiracy theories about that. But I'll say it was wrong what the Austrian painter did. Okay, you can't just say everybody, did this and that. It's not true. Tony, my ancestors also came to America in the 1880s. My great grandfather, my great great grandfather Wilhelm, he came in the 1880s during the conflicts that are going on in Germany. And I'm also related to people on my mom's side. They're another name, Pfister, which was from southern Germany. But yes, I'm also had relatives from there as well. Now, people from the British Isles and some people that have kind of like my hair, and also Liza Jean. When I was growing up, when I was a baby and a toddler, my hair was red, and I still have red highlights in the sun. It was blonde a period, but it did turn red. It was red for a long time, and then it turned darker, and that comes from my Celtic ancestors. I look just like the kind of hair that from the Disney movie Brave. My hair's a lot like her hair and her siblings. It's like thick and wavy and kind of curly. And as I said, I'm not related to, like, some people think that means I'm related to the people that aren't white. Some people thought, but of course, like, people can have that type of hair and still be white. Now, it wouldn't be bad if I'm related to people that weren't white. That's not a problem. But I'm related to certain parts of Europe that had kind of wavy-ish curly hair. And I inherited those traits. So I am, and my eye color, which is something that is very famous on YouTube, is my eye color is hazel. So my eyes can look brown, they can look green, they can look blue. It depends on how the lighting is. And that comes from my dad's side. And it comes from the Mediterranean and Celtic different ancestors. And thank you. Yes, strong roots. Absolutely. Absolutely. Eugene says Welsh and Scottish also. Liza Jean said, same thing happening now. We are being displaced by those who see the promised land. Yeah, absolutely. Joyce just saying, nobody thinks of German, Americans, and Hitler. And if anybody thinks that, they've been living under a rock. And I knew Jews from this Jewish summer camp I went to, and I was treated very well and well liked. There was just some discord with some people with Christianity, but I was treated very well. Nobody was against me. All right, and I'm all caught up. It is the latest in a long line of crisis for Belfast Yard, which have declined from their heyday when they employed as many as 2,000 people. The city skyline is still dominated by twin yellow Samson and Goliath cranes, which were installed in the 1970s. The yard, built in a Titanic liner, which famously sank on its maiden voyage in 1912. I'm thinking of the Communist Revolution. It's actually 1912, a little bit before that. And I think London, I think England has fallen, and how they're so with their correctness and stuff they're doing. I think there are a lot of cringe over there and monitoring the tweets. It's very cringe. They have fallen from grace. The administration decision raises serious questions for the UK government, which have promised to build three warships. I have never done 23andMe. I just all of my ancestry is recorded with records. Everything's recorded. Promise to build three warships at Belfast Yard, an attempt to spread work beyond the two dominant British shipbuilders. BAE Systems and Babcock International, Harland and Wolff won the warship contract as part of a consortium with the Narvitinia, the Spanish state-owned shipbuilder. Okay, Joyce, thank you. Have a good night. I think that it's good for people to have compassion for each other because I could believe that could cause a chain reaction. And it's like, it's unfortunate that my family had to leave London because of the crime, and you know, it's very unfortunate with the situation going on. And I think that I hope things get better over there, and you know, if it's karma or not, only that's for God to tell. And I understand that England did some things that were bad in its past, but America has, a lot of countries have throughout its time, and also it affects me in a way. And I have been a key essential figure on YouTube in the different communities. I remember I couldn't go to England one time because of the problem with the hand and foot and mouth disease that happened. And I couldn't go over there because of the pandemic. I just could never get a chance to go over there. And I think that, the karma can go back and forth. He can keep on going around like a boomerang. And I do think that England's problem was their own worst enemy. I think that the policies and stuff that they had caused their own problem. And I don't think that it was ever the British people that were a problem. I think it was the government. I think that the governments were causing the problems. I believe that the government of England were the ones that caused problems to Ireland. And you got to remember, Eliza Jean, there was wars with England and Scotland and Ireland, and they did a lot of things that were wrong, that they did. Now, a good thing that came out of it, though, is that America came out of that situation. And I am glad that I was born here and I wasn't born in England. And I'm glad that if they are experiencing karma, that I'm glad that the wrath wasn't put upon me, Liza Jean. And I'm glad that I'm here in America with all of you. And England's a joke right now. It really is. And shout out to you all. I really appreciate this conversation. Very cool. And Liza Jean, I want to tell you, I love your your profile picture. The tulips and were used by some people for currency and money because everybody agreed that the tulip was expensive. And and tulips are a symbol of money because people agreed that the tulip was valuable, so it became a source of currency. I agree. Liza Gino's a dry run. And Tony says, I always want to go to England. My daughter got to go and loved it. Well, I'm glad that she enjoyed it. It's very, before it got bad, it was a very nice place. Oh, there's a blood streak in the tulips. Ah, nice. I don't think I noticed that before. Liza Jean said the mayor of London is a Muslim and the king knighted him. And also, I think that basically there's a lot of crime going on in London, and regardless of what the mayor is, whatever his religion is, which I know what he is, but I think that it's about the content of his character. And I think that with his character, he he is ignoring a lot of the crimes that are going on, and I feel he's been very neglectful, and I feel London is going downhill. And I just feel sometimes with the monarch, I think that's in my family. In Liza Jean, my family in England is very critical of the royal family. Now, personally, I'm not usually like against the royal family, in my opinion, where I was kind of have a normie view of them, and because it was a monarch of the country of Britain, I respect them. But still, at the same time, I acknowledge that the monarchy of England sometimes I feel is neglected the people sometimes, and I feel with some of the policies and stuff that they're supporting, I think that in some ways they're out of touch. So I can understand the criticism about them. Liza Jean, I agree about the Crusades. I agree. Forced conversions. Yeah, absolutely. I do not think that all people that are in that religion are bad people. I think that a lot of people may not completely understand what it teaches them, and there's many Muslims that are not like that, but there are extremist ones all over the place. In certain parts. Yeah, and but hopefully, I'm glad that Ireland is doing better, and that they're not having this nonsense going on. I think in Ireland they do have nonsense going on over there, but I don't know if it's as bad as England. Oh yeah, oh yeah. And people they'll get a religion and they'll miss and they'll go and they'll pursue their own motives and how they interpret the religion, and it may be a correct interpretation or a wrong interpretation. But yeah, there's a lot of forced conversions. Yeah. Now there are parts of it that say that they're not supposed to have conversions by force, and other ones that say they should. So I think that with the religion, there's people that interpret different parts of the Quran in different ways. But right, I'm not denying what you are saying though at the same time. And hello, Liberty. Good to see you. Welcome. Hey, I'll be lurking, listening while doing housework. All right. Liza Jean said, "I'm tired of the eternal fighting between good and evil." I agree with that, Liza Jean, and I do think people have different beliefs and different ideas and stuff. But I think that it's important for people to find common ground and to not have war with each other over these different things. I think that the different beliefs can divide people for certain, and basically that is what happened. in that case. And Stranded says, so what happened with the shipyard story? Okay, we'll go back to that. Thank you. So basically, continuing with the article of the shipyard article, it comes after months of fraught negotiations as Harland and Wolff scrambled to find funding to upgrade the ship's yard where it had hoped to carry out the work on the fleet, solid support for the warships that transport crucial supplies such as ammunition and food and aircraft carriers. All shareholders in Harland and Wolff are likely to lose their money. The company said, however, as many as 20 companies has expressed interest in buying parts of the business in the sales process carried by Rothschild, an investment bank. According to a person with knowledge of the talks, Sky News reported at the weekend that Babcock, a London listed defense contractor, was considering a bid, while industry sources suggested that Navan Atia could be a contender. Susan Fitzgerald, an Irish regional secretary to unite a union representing the shipworkers, said the government should be ready to intervene to preserve skills and employment if suitable buyer cannot be found. Matt Roberts, a national officer at the GMB union, said workers, their families, and whole communities now face their lives being thrown into chaos due to chronic failure and industrial strategy and corporate mismanagement. Quote, the government must now act to ensure the private company is allowed to cherry pick what parts are retained in terms of which yards are contracts wishes to save. The future of shipyards have been in doubt for months as the government officials raised concerns that a 20 million loan guarantee could result in taxpayer losses. The business secretary Jonathan Reynolds last month ruled out giving the loan guarantee, which had initially been announced by the previous conservative government. Yet Reynolds also made it clear in July that he was confident that the Royal Navy ships will be built in Belfast. Well, that's very cool. You see, so they're going to try to be building new ships like these in Belfast, Ireland, because the Irish are very good workers. Very good. One of the Harland and Wolff's existing investors, the U.S. private equity creditor Riverstone Credit Management, injected more money to see through for another few weeks, but the administration was seen as increasingly likely. People close to the company, given its debts, is rapidly declining in cash reserves. And that's the Titanic when it was originally built. Looks just like James Cameron's film. Russell Downs, an accountant who was appointed as interim interim boss in July, said the group faces a very challenging time given the overhang of significant historic losses and failure to secure long-term financing. However, he said that despite good progress in finding buyers, the listed business would close. He added extremely difficult decisions had to be taken to preserve the future of our foreyards. Oh yeah, absolutely. I completely agree that it would be great for them to build ships like they were before. Absolutely. When the administrators are appointed, it will represent the second time in 5 years that the owner of Belfast Yards has gone under. The oil service company in Frostra brought the yards out the administration in 2019 before adopting the historic Harland and Wolff name and attempting to reinvent itself as a shipbuilder. Understood, Tony. Understood. A spokesperson for the Department for Business Trade said, "We are clear that following through the review of company's finance situation are present, the market is best to address these challenges and providing government funding that would have meant significant risk for losing taxpayer money." Scared. Bob Cock, Bob Cock, and BAE declined comment on the Navantia was approached for the comment. You get seasick easily. Understood. All right, so that's some information on Harland and Wolff. Harland and Wolff. Now I'm going to talk about the drones. Thank all of you for hitting the like button. We've broken a record. Wow. Thank y'all. I really appreciate it. All right, so we have well, we're going to also talk about the Titanic they're building. There's also a Titanic too. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, it would be a interesting experience to be on a boat. And shout out to the Celtic people that built the Titanic, and the most reliable people to build a ship, strong, good people. And Liza Jean, what our Celtic brethren built underwater, it's still the pulley systems and stuff in the ship still work. And out of all the people that could have built that ship, our people did it the best. And so shout out to you, Liza Jean. And also, this is the Titanic 2 concept. You did 23andMe. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I never did that. Oh, they were accurate too. Okay, thank you for letting me know. All right, so basically, this is the Titanic 2 concept with the lifeboats, and it was never built. There was this Australian billionaire was in 2012 and 2013 was going to have this thing built in China. They're going to build the next Titanic in China, and I don't suggest that idea. And every year, a few years, they say they're going to be building it, but it's never happened. Like, come on now, what are we doing here? Like, oh yeah, Stranded. I would love to go on that cruise too. I certainly would. What I should do is try with another company to see if it's the same. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. And you could do ancestry.com or one of those people like that, or some other one if you don't want to use that one, and see how it goes. As I said, China is building their own model of the Titanic, so I don't know if that other picture is the Titanic in question, but yeah, they just never built the Titanic yet. And this is a concept of a Titanic replica. I don't know, but here, like this is some pictures. This is like the interior of the first class would look like. Oh, I got some information. I got some information. Yay. The Titanic 2 is the Titanic 2 going to be built? Let's see what they say with this. Yes, the Titanic 2 is still planned to be built and set sail on June 2027. The ship will be a replica of the original Titanic, which sank on its maiden voyage in 1917. 1912, not 1917. I'm getting it mixed up with the Revolution. Let's read that again. Yes, the Titanic 2 is still planned to be built and is set to sail on June 2027. The ship will be a replica of the original Titanic, which sank on its maiden voyage in 1912. Details: the ship will be 882 feet long and 105.6 feet wide. It will have a capacity of 2,345 passengers. The ship will include a grand staircase, a theater, a casino, smoking room, and dining rooms for various classes. The ship will sail from Southampton, England to New York. The ship will have a cutting edge navigation equipment and more lifeboats than the original Titanic. And I don't know if that's going to really happen or not because every single year they keep saying this, okay? So just take it with a grain of salt. The ship is being built by Blue Star Line, which is owned by Australian Palmer. Palmer has been planning to build the ship since 2012. All right, they make these stupid trailers every year about the second Titanic movie. Is so cringe. Hello, Cybertoxin. Good to see you. Yeah, between 50, 500 million, and 1 billion. Liberty says Dallas is about to have Titanic exhibition interactive thing. The early bird tickets start on January 19. Okay, thank you. Yes, Liza Jean, I agree. We have been lied to a lot. Yes, we have been so lied to. Totally. Okay, so in Texas, let's see. In Tennessee, they have a Titanic exhibit, by the way, but that's very cool. Thank you for letting us know. I can confirm it's true. Yeah. And also the Tennessee one. Yeah, that's the one in Tennessee. Pretty cool. I've not been there yet. All right, so a situation. Okay, Stranded. I think Tony, she's back in the chat. Okay. All right, Stranded. Tony is she must be behind in the chat when I was talking about the British stuff and the royal stuff. She's not trolling. I know her from another chat. Don't do anything with her. She's all right. Yeah, just she needs to reload the page. She's kind of behind. So she's not trolling. She's just talking about something I talked about before. Yeah. All right. So Tony, if you reloaded the page, there was an issue with like your stream was delayed. All right, Stranded. Okay, Stranded. Thank you, Stranded, for modding the chat for me. I appreciate it. Yeah, because I was noticing this before, and I should have made a statement. Yeah, you're behind, Tony. It's just that basically she was commenting on things that I was saying earlier about the royal family, and she was making a comment that the royalty can't vote, but they can influence. So, Stranded, so instance, I was talking about the royalty of England, and she was saying that they cannot vote, but they can influence things. So she was not trolling. It was just something that I said before. I should have corrected her. I wasn't completely certain, but thank you, Stranded, so much for looking out for the chat. Great mod. I think you know I'm Louisiana, and anybody else that wants to say they can, they don't have to. Yeah. Bubbles was getting in his chair next to me. So cute. Do I think that Harry's kids really exist? Liberty. So basically, his kids. Yeah, that's a good question. You know where I am. I know. Yeah. So so basically, what happened was I've never thought about them not existing. They either are very sequestered because there is a picture of them. I'll show it for a second. So, like, for instance, Harry's kid. So these are allegedly his kids, Well, as I said, I think I have no way to question if they're real or not. That's not something that I ever. I always thought they're real. But if there's some sort of proof or evidence that there could be something fishy going on, let me know. I'll certainly like to look into a good conspiracy theory. Yeah, that's the Titanic exhibit in Dallas. Okay, wrong one. Okay, so that was just showing you that for a second. Okay. Yes, yes, Stranded. I agree. I agree. And when I was a baby, I had hair like that. Yes, yes, on Mars. Yeah. And also around 10 o'clock my time, it'll be like around the time I end the stream. And also, Cybertoxin, did you want to call in for a moment and say some things about the Bible study thing you want to talk about? It won't be like really long because like around 10 I'll end it. But I was letting you know if you want to call in, we could talk for a little bit. And also, so that was the Dallas exhibit over there. Oh yeah, shout out to X. Shout out to X. And also the drones. Okay. Amazon pauses drone deliveries after aircraft crash and rain. Okay. All right. Now, there's something I want to mention to you all before we do anything else. Is about the drones. I just remembered. Let's see. Is that going to work? Okay. Drones are changing farming. Oh no, that's the wrong one. Drone sighting. Let's say drone, Louisiana, and let's see right here. Louisiana needs more authority to deal with drone threats, state officials say. And that's the drone right there. Louisiana could see new legislation this year that would empower state law enforcement to electronically take down or mitigate drones task that is currently within the preview of federal agencies. The idea for legislation is backed by the governor's Office of Homeland Security, the emergency pre-planned preparedness of the Louisiana Advanced Aviation Drone Activity Committee. At the quarterly Drone Advisory Committee meeting on Wednesday, a subcommittee focused on counter drone technology and presented a detailed report of recommendations, some of which addressed the questions of drone mitigation. Counter drone technologies are those used to detect intercept drones. Is the exhibit that's like a virtual tour where you can explore different parts of the ship and guest rooms? Yes, it's like and she could explain about Liberty if she knows anything else. Could explain about the Titanic one in Dallas, the one in Tennessee. It's like a museum of the Titanic. It's a replica of the Titanic where you could go into the different rooms and the ballrooms and stuff like that. And the one in Tennessee, and the one in Texas seemed like a similar concept as an exhibit. Liberty said Trump's inauguration moved indoors because of the cold. I'm glad less are worried about the drones. Yeah, right on, Liberty. Right on. A lot of people thought he should have been inside for the inauguration for his safety in general. All right. And the report came just a week after Entergy said it altered law enforcement about drone activity at its River Bend Station nuclear power plants in early January, and after the West Phillynia Parish Sheriff Office said and it's working with local and state and federal partners to investigate a rash of drone sightings. The drone sightings at the power plant and investigation come to light after Gov Jeff Landry said drones were spotted over Louisiana over nuclear reactors while at dinner with President elect Trump. On Friday, Landry said it is a huge gap in security when it comes to drones. And also, Tony mentioned something that very important here is that Trump said he's going to address the drones and what they are when he gets a few days after he gets sworn in. Thank you. That is very true. Yes. According to the reports, the working group of the GOSHEP are proposing a bill that would grant Louisiana State Police the authority to mitigate drones with the counter UAS systems, unmanned aircraft systems, or UAS, a term that can be used to refer to drones. Quote, drones pose an increasing risk to Louisiana citizens, critical infrastructure, and overall safety. The report says the four agencies had mitigate authority are wholly underpaid and understaffed to address the prevalence of the drones in Louisiana. Those agencies are the U.S. Department of Defense, Department of Justice, Department of Homeland Security, and Department of Energy. R. and George R. Ray Sir, a former Navy lieutenant commander who reiterated from the submarine services in 1997 after more than 30 years as president of the Louisiana chapter of a drone and robotics international organization called the AUVSI. He was instrumental in setting up the Three Drones Advisory Committee in 2021 and now chairs the Counter Drone Work Group. Stranded said, there definitely needs to be regulation, but the ones invading military airspace are not hobby drones like they want people to believe. Absolutely. These things are way bigger than hobby drones. Way bigger. Right, not many hobbyists have drones the size of a car. And also, allegedly, there's people inside the drones, in some of them. Quote, the nefarious drone threats is increasing exponentially, Ray said. States need to step up to develop laws to give our law enforcement the tools they need to go after folks. However, the majority of drones operators who run afoul regulations fall into the category of careless and clueless. Ray said in those cases, providing education about responsibilities of the drone operators is generally sufficient to address drone missteps. He said GOHSEP had a very productive meeting with Landry's legislative team about introducing a bill during an upcoming legislative season of Thomas Muley, executive officer of the Security and Interoperability Division of at GOHSEP. Howdy, Alan. It's great to see you. Welcome. I'm glad you're able to see us on the live stream. And we're talking about the drone situation. Liberty said the size of a bus, people inside them. I haven't heard of that before. Yeah, there is a conspiracy that some of the drones have like a person in it. The bigger ones. Yeah, a shout out to Alan, who is his late always, the late Earthling. Okay, and wow, that's incredible. Chatting, Charles aliens. What's that? Aliens? And I want to say shout out to all of you hitting the like button. We have broken the record of likes on a stream. Wow, and 60 views already. I'm thankful for the combined efforts of the chat and myself for bringing more people and going live at different times where people could see it. Stranded always told me about the live streams and stuff, and it's like she could see that these early live streams have more people than the later ones. I'm going to freestyle like we're going to kind of go off course here a little bit, and we're going to talk about briefly about Planet 10, which I'll talk about more in another stream. But here we go. Oh yeah, I heard about people inside the drones because it's like the drones it's a size where a person can fit in it, and there is a conspiracy that there's probably people inside the drones. Yeah, it is creepy. Yeah, it is very creepy. I'll show you all the man drones. All right, look how big these things are. These are not necessarily what's being seen, but it's like, look at these things. Strand said, "See, I have good ideas once a century or so." Yes. I always intended to do earlier live streams. I just had to get my timing right with my schedule and all. And it took me a while to orchestrate it all out. And I did it perfectly. I'm so. And also for my co pilot to get on me to make sure the ship is running correctly. But yeah, Stranded with her great ideas. Yeah, shout out to her. HW Liberty. Basically, the drones are allegedly from the United States and they're FAA compliant. So the lights that they're blinking on the drones are with the FAA. And also, it's from our government, and they're trying to find these a nuclear device that went missing, allegedly. So allegedly, they're from our own country. But there's a whistleblower that was saying that they're also from China, but take that with a grain of salt. But that is basically what these drones are like, and that's like a homemade drone, by the way. But yeah, basically these type of this is like examples of drones. Very cool. Very cool. Although creepy at the same time because of what they're doing now. Yeah, these are some of the drone sightings. Tony said you wouldn't have a prayer if you crashed in one. 400 feet is still a long way down. I agree. I agree. Yeah. Oh, there's another crazy thing it's even crazier than this. There's this other thing I'm trying to see the name of. Let's see. We can confirm they're on Earth if they have red and green lights. Yes, yes. All right, so let's see. Let's see. So there's this apparatus where this person was had a fan on his back with these two pulley devices on a seat, and he flew to McDonald's, and he just flew around the sky. It's even crazier than a drone. Just watch 1A and 2A under assault. There is a plan to stop civilizations from using drones. See what's really going on. Liza Jean, I wouldn't doubt that for a second if it has to do with a false flag operation to get people to stop using drones. And if it wasn't, they still would have a negative effect of having that happen. So Liza Jean, that's noted on the record, and that very well may be so. Thank you. Yeah, the orbs are even more worrisome. Yes, I agree. That's funny, Alan. That's funny. It's not funny you're colorblind, but it's that you're just talking full of shit. Yes, you want to get a Big Mac that bad. All right, this is what I'm talking about. So you fly in this thing, and there's like a fan, and you can fly all the way up into the sky. And yeah, the dude went to McDonald's. Yeah, hunger will do that. Yeah, and you go and you have this thing. Yeah, they do have hover cars that are in production. I did a stream about that one time. Yeah, I see these YouTubers. It's crazy. You know, imagine the people at McDonald's were like, "What the fuck?" Exactly. Yeah, facts. Oh, you saw one of those flying with ducks. Very interesting. You'd have to push me out of a plane with a parachute, and I'd be screaming all day, all the way down. Oh well, hilarious. Or, oh, you're talking about geese? You're gonna put me down a rabbit hole. Scared? All right. So there, I used to say geese in a funny way. I would say with goose, I would used to say goose. That's how I used to say goose. I would say goose. I was funny. All right, and so I'll Google it, bro. I'll Google it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I'll put the link to this guy in the chat. There wouldn't probably be any copyright issues because it's another YouTuber. He would be okay with us reacting to him, but at the moment, there's not really all the time in the world to react to that. I will react to his video in another stream, but this is the link to the guy. That's not what I meant to do. Well, what we'll do is we'll go here, go there, and copy, copy, and all right. So after this, another window. I don't know. Just it's going to distract from this. I mean, okay. I have to bear with me a moment. I'll give you all the link. I'm not reacting to any videos this time, but maybe on the next one I'll react to some of these things. All right, so here we go. That's the guy's channel who does these things. All right. Yeah, he's the YouTuber that does these things. You called that goosing back in the 60s. Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you. Oh. That's funny. Yeah, my dad had a funny picture of himself making a face like he got goosed. My uncle told me. So I've heard of that terminology before. My dad was born in the 50s. All right. In the last part of the show, we finished everything. I will read a little bit about this and the Greys. All right. Here we go. It's all alien related. Maybe next time we'll have Stranded or somebody else call in. I didn't do the call ins this time, it seems. So we'll have that on the next one. All right. So maybe if anybody's up to it. Following the discovery of the planet Neptune in 1846, there was a considerable speculation that another planet might exist beyond orbit. The search began in the mid 19th century and continued at the start of the 20th with Percival Lowell's quest for Planet X. Lowell proposed Planet X, the hypothesis, to explain the apparent disappearances in the orbits of the giant planets, particularly Uranus and Neptune, speculating that the gravity of a large unseen ninth planet could be perturbed the Uranus enough to account for its irregularities. Liberty, I was chased by a peacock when I was an infant, a baby. So when my mom had me in the stroller at the park, at the zoo, basically a peacock must have wanted to mate with me or something, so it started chasing us. It's kind of funny, but it was messed up. I remember it a little bit. This pic reminds me of the Mayan thing when the guy is looking into an eyepiece in a rocket ship. You know what I'm talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about, Alan. Exactly. Because it's the same type of concept. Because they saw these things too. Anunnaki was telling me about how they have to do with the Babylonian mythology talked about it also, Nibiru. Liberty, I've been chased before by the peacock and the goose. I've had, my family in England has geese. I was taught by Peach, she's a farmer, a commercial farmer, and I learned a lot about farming from her. So I'm able to hatch geese and have a little geese farm or a chicken farm. I just have not done it yet because I'm focused on my law and crime farm and the YouTube farm. I'm not calling you out farm man, but you know what I mean. I'm focused on YouTube. The YouTube farm. Birds are fierce. They will f you up. Scared. Yes, they mean and will chase you. My cousin's uncle had a few of them. Ah, that's interesting, Tony. Clyde Tombaugh's discovery of Pluto in 1930 appeared to validate Lowell's hypothesis, and Pluto was officially named the ninth planet. In 1978, Pluto was consecutively determined to be too small for its gravity to affect the giant planets, resulting for the search of the 10th planet. Oh, yeah, that is an excellent movie. I love that movie. That French filmmaker was a genius. Neptune's mass. After 1992, discovery of numerous small icy objects with similar, even wider orbits than Pluto led to debate over whether Pluto should remain a planet, or whether it and its neighbors should be like an asteroids, be given their own separate classification. Although a number of the large members of this group were initially described as planets in 2006, the International Astronomical Union reclassified Pluto and its largest neighbors as dwarf planets, leaving planet Neptune the farthest known planet in the solar system. Flamingos. Scared, scared, scared. A swan can kick you so hard it will break your leg. Yeah, they're fierce. Flamingos can too. I believe it. I believe it. While the astronomical community widely agrees that Planet X was originally envisioned does not exist, but it actually does exist. The concept of a yet unobserved planet has been revived by a number of astronomers to explain other anomalies observed in the outer solar system. As March 2014, observations with the WISE telescope have ruled out the possibility of a Saturn sized object, 95 Earth masses, out of 10,000 AU, and Jupiter the size of a larger object, 26 AU. Liberty says, I had a hawk eyeballing me today and walking the trail. I think because I had white headset on. I had one swoop down, almost touched my head before. Scared. A little bit more about it. In 1840s, the French mathematician Vivier used nutation mechanisms to analyze perturbations of the orbit of Uranus. The hypothesized that they were caused in gravitational pull of yet another undiscovered planet. You see, predicted the position of the new planet sent his calculations. to Gale, and they were seeing giant planets. All right. Briefly about the Greys. Yeah, he does look constipated. Scared. Gray aliens, also referred to as Zeta Reclutians, Roswell Greys, are purported extraterrestrial beings. They are frequent subjects of close encounters and alien abduction claims. The details of such claims vary widely. That said, the Greys are typically described as being human like with small bodies, smooth gray colored skin, and large hairless heads with large black eyes. That's funny. That's funny. The Barney and Betty Hill abduction claim, which purportedly took place in New Hampshire, which is also called New Hampshire, in 1961, popularized gray aliens. Percussor figures have been described as science fiction, and similar descriptions appeared in later accounts of the 1947 Roswell incident and early accounts of 1948 Aztec UFO hoax. Liberty says, Tony, I had one circling above the little white chihuahua in a dog park. We left as soon as possible. Yeah, because, those birds might try to snatch it. Snatch your dog. The gray alien has emerged as an archetypal image of an intelligent, non human creature and extraterrestrial life in general, as well as an iconic trope of popular culture in the age of space exploration. Absolutely. The association between the gray aliens and Zeta Reticuli originated from the interpretation of a map drawn by Betty Hill by a schoolteacher named Mesure Fish sometime in 1969. Betty Hill, under hypnosis, had claimed to have been shown a map that displayed the aliens' home system, a nearby star. Upon learning this, Fish attempted to create a model from the drawing produced by Hill, eventually determined the stars marked as the aliens' home where Zeta Recuciae, a binary star system, is. Alright, I'll show you what that looks like. Alright, so this is the star system they come from, allegedly. So, I think those constellations are very interesting. Very cool. And let's look up flamingos. So I told you about the alien, and I told you about the other thing, the planet. Now let's talk about the flamingo. Shout out to the flamingo birds. Yeah, I think that those birds can be very scary, for people and like little animals and stuff. And I have seen hawks and eagles before, and they're very big. They're very big. And you are not an Earthling after all, Liberty. So she is from Ador Media. I'll explain to you what that is. It's a type of star system. I only saw flamingo at the zoo also. So this is the star system that Liberty allegedly comes from. Are Andromeda. In Greek mythology, beautiful daughter of King of Cepheus and Queen Cassiope of Joppa in Palestine, called Ethiopia, and wife of Perseus. Cassiope offered Nereides, but boosting from the Andromede was the beautiful than they. So in revenge, Poseidon sent the sea monster to devastate Cepheus. Yeah, so shout out to Liberty. All right, back to the flamingos. Yeah, so Tony says I had a seagull crap on me, so I get the part. Oh, that must have been fun. I've been told that's good luck. Well, hey, I mean, he was an alien from the other cosmos, and he was telling you about your past, because, you're an alien like me. I'm from Planet 10, and you're from that system. I mean, hey, it was a clever disguise. That is a mean looking flamingo. Andromina. Andromina. Thank you, Shannon, for the pronunciation. Because, I have my special helmet on sometimes. Thank you. Alan says Poseidon was always jealous of Zeus. Didn't get me started talking about Hades. Yes, exactly. Exactly. That's another flamingo. Thank you, Stranded. Andromeda. This one is dancing and sprinting. Very clever flamingo. Well, these are decorations we have. The flamingo decorations. Always very cool. Yeah, and also you have them here. You have this. Oh, because we're getting close to the end of the show, and the chat was talking about flamingos and birds. So on here, it's eclectic. So we talk about random stuff sometimes. So yeah, and I talked about the aliens in Nibru briefly, and now we're talking about these birds. And people like looking at nature and stuff. These are shaped in like a heart form. Big, juicy birds. All right. Oh, thank you, Stranded. I didn't know that. Also, talking about owls. So I see owls where I live quite often, and I'll hear them hoot in the tree. Usually around spring, I'll hear them hooting, and also in winter. Because we got our night owl right here, conveniently, to shout out to Tony, the night owl. So basically, we have, beautiful owl, beautiful owl, and we have, I have them like that here, and also the white ones. My girlfriend in high school told me that if I was a bird, I would be an owl. That's funny. Shout out to her. Yeah, such big eyes. They turn. Oh yeah, they turn their heads all the way around, and they're very nice Halloween type creature. And there's a lot of symbolism with the owls also. Alan says, "I love owls. They are associated with Athenia, the goddess of war, wisdom, and the hearth." Oh yeah, shout out to Athenia. That's very very cool. She that was very good too. Yes, she was great in mythology. Yeah. Edgar the Alchemist. Yep. Thank you for the information. Look at these owls, just spinning their head all the way around. Scared. All right, owl without feathers. Scared. Yeah, featherless owls. Scared. Looks like an alien. The biology of the owl seems very fascinating. Very fascinating. Yeah. Yeah, certainly something alien. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, so yes, hairless cats look like gargoyles. Yeah, shout out to the hairless cats. Yeah, very freaky. Scared. Yeah, they did. They look like gargoyles. Scared. That kind of looks like ET a little bit with his ears. That's a grumpy one. All right, panda bear without fur. Scared. That looks like kind of a raccoon, but let's see. Anyway, that's a panda. It's a panda anyway. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah. Without the fur, it looks so different. Maine Coon cats. Oh yeah, very large, and very smart. Wow, that cat's gigantic. And also there. Oh yeah, they're so majestic, so cool. Yeah. Oh, about sloths. There's a book I had about sloths, and I lost it in Katrina. But at my school, there was this contest for a book for the book fair, and I won. Yeah, scared, scared. This sloth is plotting. This sloth is plotting, right there. You wouldn't like dealing with its litter box. Yes, I agree. I agree. It's a kind of nefarious looking. I feel like Flash from around sloths. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he's just chilling. All right. And also you have look at its claws. Very cool. Look at its claws. Freddy Krueger sloth. Very a good one. Good one. All right. And look at the swan. Yeah, these are some swans chilling in the water. Edward Scissorhands sloth. Perfect. Perfect. Facts. Yeah, swans are very majestic. And see, it looks like a heart. Yeah, swans make for life. And those are some little ducklings. Yeah, let's see. Wolverine sloth. Yeah, shout out to SC Wolverines. Yes, swans mate for life. Trumpster swans can form monogamous pair bonds from the age of 20 months. Even though they won't breed until they reach 4 or 7 years old, swans perform graceful mating dance. They dip their heads into the water, then raise their ruffled feathers while moving their necks in unison. Oh yeah, Stranded, I agree. That's so cute. And she protects them. I agree. It's too bad people don't make most people don't make for life. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, no wonder that it's shaped like a swan's back. Exactly. Right, right. They based it off of the design of the different swans and the creatures of the earth. Yes. Very good point. You were married 49 years. Ah, yes. Yes, understood. Oh, that's so cool. It's like a boat. She's basically like a boat. It reminds me of that reminds me of a Viking longship. It reminds me of the Willy Wonka boat. Yes, the ballet was great too. Yes, I agree. I agree. Yes, Swan Lake. Shout out to Swan Lake. Very good one. You like the male versions, yeah. I understand that you. I would think that's you would like that version the most. Right. Shout out to Alan. All right. So basically, we have the Black Swan. Let's look at the Black Swan. Exactly. Exactly. Right, Tony. And that's Black Swan. Let's look up. That's the film. Let's see. Black Swan duck. It's not really a duck, but right. And Alan, it's no big deal. You're welcome here. There's no problem with you here. Very good friend. Now this is the black swan animal. The water looks green. The water looks green. Yeah, and that looks so great. You know, a great piece of art. A great piece of art. Tony said, "I dated a gay guy in my teens. We don't know if back then, but all the girls were nuts. Were nuts for him." But yeah, shout out to him, Tony. Oh, you've been drinking a little bit. Ah, yeah. Shout out to you, Alan. Shout out to you. And also, she likes this person. I'm not too sure who they are, but we're gonna look it up. All right, understood, Liberty. Understood. Oh yeah, Liberty. I looked him up. Yeah, so yeah, shout out to him. He's a good ballerina dancer. When I was very young, as I was a kid, at some point I danced around or something, and they suggested me being doing ballet. I never did it, but that was something that was brought up to me at one point. But basically, ballet is a very great art. Shout out to the male and female ballerinas. Yes, understood. Understood. Yes, Tony, I agree. I agree. The fines would be astronomical. Yeah, so shout out to these ducks. These swan, the swan. Let's see, a swan walking. All right, and also, Alan says, our boy Alien Spaceship says, when I was young, I am still young, and he stopped being so cute. Yeah, and I mean like when I was a kid. I know I'm still young. Yeah, thank you. And a good thing you didn't. Ballet destroys a dancer's feet. Yeah, I can't have those being destroyed. I needed them for all kinds of things that I was doing and walking around and stuff like that. And bearing because the accidents, of course. Yes. All right. So that is a swan walking around. All right. And shout out to Mary Toodles. She got back from doing some stuff helping out the cats, and that's good. And the dinner will about to be starting, so we'll be about to. I'm about to end it, and here we go. And my mom's Mary Toodles. She helps with the cats and stuff. Just for those that may not know, which I think everybody does know, but it is what it is. All right. All right, so we had a very eclectic night of different conversations, and we had the most recorded likes so far, and I really appreciate that. And we had the people from Law and Crime come in, and they look better in water. Oh yeah, it's very classic for them to look better in water. Absolutely. I'm just trying to do the thing where it puts the balloons. I don't know if it will do it or not. Yeah. So yes, and also this is around the time that I do dinner. Also, so it's after she comes in is when I end the stream. So y'all can go to Creature Feature if y'all are interested. I'll be over there in a little bit or so. I'll be there shortly. And also, I thank all of you for being here. We had a great night, and peace. All right, and here we go. Oh, that's a wrong window. Wrong window.